Got a red dot and some titties, I ain't with the drama. I'm just tryna touch a milli, I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Plug pull up with the pack and I ain't even bust it down. Couple minutes on my phone, I promise I'm gon' get it gone. I stay solid, I get caught, I'm fighting till they sit me down. You get caught, you singing like a nigga in the studio. Brody sold the whip for 1,000 cause we just slid in it. I really make a house call, fuck if your kids in it. Been through some shit that's why my heart too froze. You ain't living what you rapping in a studio. You get your noodle blown, fucking with the opposition. My brother making decisions on anybody that's dissing. With the quickness, I'ma make a decision. I'm on a mission. You tripping, thinking we missing. I'm shooting up with precision. Red beam on the barrel to give myself some assistance. My brother come through like sniper, he knock you off from a distance. Big foe with no foe, I'm balling just like a piston. We get the... Damn, heard it's another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties, I ain't with the drama. I'm just tryna touch a milli, I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties, I ain't with the drama. I'm just tryna touch a milli, I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Plug pull up with the pack and I ain't even bust it down. Couple minutes on my phone, I promise I'm gon' get it gone. I stay solid, I get caught, I'm fighting till they sit me down. You get caught, you singing like a nigga in the studio. Brody sold the whip for 1,000 cause we just slid in it. I really make a house call, fuck if your kids in it. Been through some shit that's why my heart too froze. You ain't living what you rapping in a studio. You get your noodle blown, fucking with the opposition. My brother making decisions on anybody that's dissing. With the quickness, I'ma make a decision. I'm on a mission. You tripping, thinking we missing. I'm shooting up with precision. Red beam on the barrel to give myself some assistance. My brother come through like sniper, he knock you off from a distance. Big foe with no foe, I'm balling just like a piston. We get the... Damn, heard it's another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties, I ain't with the drama. I'm just tryna touch a milli, I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties, I ain't with the drama. I'm just tryna touch a milli, I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Plug pull up with the pack and I ain't even bust it down. Couple minutes on my phone, I promise I'm gon' get it gone. I stay solid, I get caught, I'm fighting till they sit me down. You get caught, you singing like a nigga in the studio. Brody sold the whip for 1,000 cause we just slid in it. I really make a house call, fuck if your kids in it. Been through some shit that's why my heart too froze. You ain't living what you rapping in a studio. You get your noodle blown, fucking with the opposition. My brother making decisions on anybody that's dissing. With the quickness, I'ma make a decision. I'm on a mission. You tripping, thinking we missing. I'm shooting up with precision. Red beam on the barrel to give myself some assistance. My brother come through like sniper, he knock you off from a distance. Big foe with no foe, I'm balling just like a piston. We get the... Damn, heard it's another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties, I ain't with the drama. I'm just tryna touch a milli, I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties, I ain't with the drama. I'm just tryna touch a milli, I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Plug pull up with the pack and I ain't even bust it down. Couple minutes on my phone, I promise I'm gon' get it gone. I stay solid, I get caught, I'm fighting till they sit me down. You get caught, you singing like a nigga in the studio. Brody sold the whip for 1,000 cause we just slid in it. I really make a house call, fuck if your kids in it. Been through some shit that's why my heart too froze. You ain't living what you rapping in a studio. You get your noodle blown, fucking with the opposition. My brother making decisions on anybody that's dissing. With the quickness, I'ma make a decision. I'm on a mission. You tripping, thinking we missing. I'm shooting up with precision. Red beam on the barrel to give myself some assistance. My brother come through like sniper, he knock you off from a distance. Big foe with no foe, I'm balling just like a piston. We get the... Damn, heard it's another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties, I ain't with the drama. I'm just tryna touch a milli, I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties, I ain't with the drama. I'm just tryna touch a milli, I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Plug pull up with the pack and I ain't even bust it down. Couple minutes on my phone, I promise I'm gon' get it gone. I stay solid, I get caught, I'm fighting till they sit me down. You get caught, you singing like a nigga in the studio. Brody sold the whip for 1,000 cause we just slid in it. I really make a house call, fuck if your kids in it. Been through some shit that's why my heart too froze. You ain't living what you rapping in a studio. You get your noodle blown, fucking with the opposition. My brother making decisions on anybody that's dissing. With the quickness, I'ma make a decision. I'm on a mission. You tripping, thinking we missing. I'm shooting up with precision. Red beam on the barrel to give myself some assistance. My brother come through like sniper, he knock you off from a distance. Big foe with no foe, I'm balling just like a piston. We get the... Damn, heard it's another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties. I ain't with the drama. I'm just trying to touch a milli. I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. It's another man down in my city, Brody Chopper got a red dot and some titties. I ain't with the drama. I'm just trying to touch a milli. I'm a addy dropper. Cause on my mama we get busy. Plug pull up with the pack and I ain't even busted down. Couple minutes on my phone, I promise I'm gonna get it gone. I stay solid, I get caught, I'm fighting till they sit me down. You get caught, you singing like a nigga in the studio. Brody sold the whip for 1,000 cause we just slid in it. I really make a house call, fuck if your kids in it. Been through some shit, that's why my heart too froze. You ain't living what you rapping in a studio. You get your noodle blown, fucking with the opposition. My brother making decisions on anybody that's dissing. With the quickness, I'ma make a decision, I'm on a mission. You tripping, thinking we missing, I'm shooting up with precision. Red beam on the barrel to give myself some assistance. My brother come through like sniper, he knock you off from a distance. Big foe with no foe, I'm balling just like a piston.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the El Nino podcast. I'm Eladio Nino, and this is Real Everyday People. So, as always, every time we start the show, I got to share my love, gratitude, and support for everyone who's liked, shared, commented, subscribed to this amazing podcast. You know, I've been doing this for a little while now, but you know what? Much love to every single one of you. I appreciate you. Much love. Now we got to do the. Now I got to rewind it a little bit.
That was a good job.
Appreciate it. But this is not, in fact, Eladio Nino. This is Mario. Hi, Mario Perotti. You may have heard of a podcast called the Legal Aliens Podcast. I do it with that guy over there, Brian Ruiz. Producer of the Eladio Nino, the El Nino podcast. See, I'm a good host, aren't I? I'm doing this very well.
That's right.
But we have a special guest today, straight from the multiverse, in a weird twist of fate. It's Eladio Nino himself.
Yo, what up, though, everybody? What's going on with you? Gonna switch it up today. We changing up roles.
I know. The interviewer is now the interviewee. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think you did a pretty good job, bro. Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, that's dope.
I know. We should start a podcast, right? Like, the Legal Alien sounds like a good name, right? We should use that. We'll trademark it.
Listen, I thought that was very clever, bro. The first time I ever seen that, I was like, that's really clever, the Legal Aliens podcast. I love it.
It was a toilet thought. Somebody just had to sit late night, just like, bam, got it.
And you know what? You guys killed it. It's dope. I love it.
We're doing well, but just as well as us, El Nino podcast. I think this is a fantastic platform for anybody who's interested in sharing their story and sharing who they are and what they do in life, and kind of bring their wealth and knowledge to those who maybe would like to listen. Get some good words out of it. So hit Eladio up.
Yeah, definitely tap in, man. Every Monday, every day, actually. You know what I'm saying? I got some shit going on. I got live videos, always got posts, you know what I'm saying? But, I love my life. I always try to stay active. I stay relevant, impactful, you know what I'm saying, in every way. Definitely, every day I just do my best to be my best, bro. You know what I mean?
I know. And then you how would you describe yourself working with a lovely organization called the DHDC?
So the Detroit Hispanic Development Corporation, man. Let me see. From a professional point, that's my foundation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have been able to build there. I've been able to learn there. I've been able to teach there. I've been able to heal there. And, that place is, my second home, bro. You know what I'm saying? And, I feel that, that place is a part of me, and I am a part of that place,
Because you've done what have you done, and where haven't you done, really? You've done anything from violence, prevention, or kind of like expungement fairs. I mean, there's a hefty list, you could say, maybe.
Yeah. So speaking about expungement fairs, I made a video earlier. 14799 Team Wellness Center on Dixon Toledo Road in Southgate, across the street from Walmart. We set up a expungement fair for the Downriver community. A couple months ago, we had one at Ecorse High School, and we wanted to come down a little further and and expand our services. And I come from the Downriver community, you know what I'm saying, as well as the Southwest community. These have been my homes. It's been all in one, really, for me, even though it's been different experiences living in different communities. But nonetheless, I've learned from it, and it impacted me, and I grew from it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so tap in September 21st. It's a Saturday from 11 to 4. Come through. If you got any felonies and they have to be at least 7 years old, you can't have more than one DUI, and you can't have any felonies that carry up to a life sentence. Unfortunately, I cannot qualify to have my expungement, my felonies expunged because, I got a murder case. And, it sucks because, I'm not the person that I used to be, and I no longer have the privilege of, being able to protect myself or arm myself, you know what I'm saying? But I'm okay with that because, my relationship with God, I live fearless. I'm not afraid to live. I'm not afraid to die. You know what I'm saying? So I'm okay with that. I've learned to accept the reality of my situation, and I keep it pushing. But at the end of the day, for those who have the opportunity to be able to get their rights back, to bear arms, those who just want housing opportunities or, new job opportunities, and that felony is holding you back, come on, see us at the Team Wellness Center, Saturday, September 21st.
Now, I do have to say, because you've done a lot of these for many years now, have there been people that have come to you after experiencing these kind of events and saying like, hey, like, this really helped me? I've grown in my life. I've now, I'm not a felon anymore. I've got this amazing job. I got a great house, a family. Do people come back to you and like share their stories to you?
I have had some. And even during the process, there's people that have walked out of the building in tears, tears of joy, though. Because they're like, man, I've had this felony for 20, 25, 30 years, and it's been holding me up from a job, or it's been a barrier for me to get housing. And, and then it just, it uplifts their morale. It gave them a fresh start, a new beginning. And now they qualify for things that they didn't qualify for before. And yes, they thank me. Friends, family, community, everybody who has went there and got positive results. Or even if they didn't get immediate results, at least they got the information they need to know where they're at and what they need to do, No,
that's a great thing, because having those, I guess, events and those like pop-ups, you could say, maybe, and areas that maybe people need it the most, and they can't. Oh, and sometimes you do it in places where they can't really reach out far. They don't have the means to get to a certain place, so you have it right there in their neighborhoods, things like that. So I appreciate that in that standpoint too.
And then not only that, but you're saving people money. You go to an attorney, and you're going to pay $2,500 to $3,000 to, for them to start the process for your expungement. And here we're providing a free service to our community. So, it's worth it to take advantage of the opportunity and, and get it done and get it taken care of,
Where do you see it going in the next year or two? Do you ever have those kind of meetings or those thoughts in your head like, okay, where do we want to expand? Because you're saying now you're reaching into more than the downriver communities around this neighborhood specifically too. Do you look at other places to go, or do you what kind of I guess events you're maybe wanting to plan maybe sometime in the future?
I follow God's plan, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's days that I'm tired, I'm wore out. You know what I'm saying? There's days where I don't really feel like doing and being and all of that. But, everything that I do it with purpose. I do it with good intention. And every expungement fair that we've had so far has been successful. And we even started doing the road to restoration as well to help with people in their licenses and things like that. The thing is that like the quote says, be the change that you want to see. And there's a lot of opportunity, programs, and resources for people today that I did not have, what I'm saying, when I was younger. You know what I mean? Me, my friends, my community, my family, we didn't have these resources. And so now that they're there, I just want to utilize them and maximize its potential. Downriver community is very big. Like I said, I started off in Ecorse. Now I'm in Southgate. Next one could be, Brownstown, could be, Monroe, anywhere, you know what I mean? And, we even got people from Pontiac, you know what I'm saying, who want to network, different organizations and, kind of, learn from us and how we do community violence intervention in our community and stuff like that. So, like I said, man, as far as God takes me, man, that's where I'm going to go. and I reached that conclusion with many trials and tribulations and errors of thinking that I always knew best and doing what I thought was best, and always bumping my head, always taking L's, always failing and falling, but I always got back up, and with a new understanding, that I don't live to feed the flesh, I live to feed the spirit. And wherever my spirit takes me, that's where I go,
And you've been doing that. You've been living. I will say, for last, since I've known you, you've definitely been it's just another level every single time you've been going. But what about pre, meeting you, Eladio? Who became the person we know today? Like, what in the back in the day who were you as a person?
Well, I was the firstborn of 3 sons raised by a single mother, So at a young age, I became the man of the house. I had responsibility, and the absence of a male presence. I was surrounded by male figures because my mother had 7 brothers, so I had 7 uncles. I had lots of cousins. You know what I'm saying? But back in the times that I grew up, 80s, 90s, everybody was living like Scarface. You know what I mean? I think that movie had such a huge impact on society across the world that at that time everybody wanted to be Scarface. Everybody
neighborhoods turned into those cities.
Yes, drug dealers. Everybody's making money, partying, snorting powder, selling weed, drinking. And then getting into the 90s. A lot of gangs migrated from California, from Chicago. They came to Detroit, and Detroit got busy with the whole gang lifestyle. So between drugs and gangs, and I look now and they always talk about history repeating itself, and I look at TikTok and I see all these videos about the Venezuelans who are everywhere, and all the conflict. At that time in the 80s, a lot of the Cubans had arrived in Southwest Detroit, and there was wars all over. So between Cubans arriving in Southwest Detroit and all the gangs arriving from Chicago and everybody establishing territory, transitioning from the Stilettos and the Bagley Boys to the Latin Counts, the Cobras and the Cash Flow Posse, like it was a whole battle zone on top of all the drug dealers that was coming in trying to get all the money, So I grew up in them times. That's what molded me. Like those were, the examples that I grew up with. I didn't have no choice. I was indoctrinated. It's not like, once you become an adult, you become conscious and all that type of stuff. Then you can make responsible decisions. But when you a kid, man, you just follow what you see. You know what I mean? And, I come from the mud, bro. I come from the trenches, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was taught that, to kill or be killed. Only the strong survive. I'd rather get caught with it than get caught without it. You know what I'm saying? Live for today because tomorrow's never promised. I was always taught to live in the moment, but it did a disservice to us and our people because we were never taught to plan or prepare for the future. You know what I'm saying? But death and incarceration was at such a high rate that it was like, it was hard to even plan or prepare or think past today because I didn't even know if I was going to be alive tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you had to probably, hours from now, you have to go do something to, potentially you have to keep your life going, knowing that sometimes somebody might lose one too. That kind of culture and how it just kind of grew in that regard. Maybe, I don't know, TV and other things, you had all that with kids, seeing action figures and, other movies. But then you guys are just like, okay, we got to be really in there. What was like your first sort of like, oh, I'm doing this like moment? Was there a moment like somebody you just saw doing something crazy, or is it kind of like a scene, like an area you were in, you're like, oh, I'm really deep down in this?
Yeah. All of that. All of that, bro. Every day was a fucking episode. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not glorifying this shit, but I'm talking about cocktail bombing houses. My mother's house got cocktail bombed. My mother's house got raided by Drano and by the ATF. My mother's house has been shot up. My family has been victimized as I victimize others. So I repeat, I do as I was taught. You cocktail bomb my house, I'm burning your house up too. You shoot my house up, I'm shooting your house up too. You don't care about my family and my mother, I don't care about your family and your mother. It really turned me into an animal because naturally, my natural, in my true nature, you know, I'm a good person with a good heart, but my environment molded me. I became a product of my environment. You know what I'm saying? Survive by all means necessary. Kill or be killed. Those were the things that I was taught. Those were the lessons that I was learned, you know, that I was learning at that time. You know what I mean? And it was real life. And it was survival of the fittest, you know. It was kill or be killed. So that was the mindset that I had, you know, was to survive by all means necessary. I used to think that it was okay to mask up and go rob somebody if I had to. You know what I'm saying? You know, it was about dominance. You know, it was about power. It was about being a savage, about, you know, respect. You know what I mean? And, you know, those were the things that were defined as manhood back then. You know, how many women you can sleep with, you know, how many fights you can win, you know, how much liquor you can drink, controlling your woman, controlling your home, having control of everything but yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's how I was raised. That was what was around me. That's how the men around me behaved. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had guns. And, you know, I had friends of mine die and at a young age, shot in front of my house. My brothers were victims. They, you know, had to sleep on the floor because my house was getting shot up. They couldn't get to me, so they jumped my brother, and you know, he came home all busted up. You know what I'm saying? So it was like everybody. I allowed people to set the standard for how far we were gonna go until I reached the point where I just became inhumane. I was an animal. I thought like an animal, and I didn't give a fuck about nothing, nobody, your mom, your dad, your parents, your kids, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm not saying it because I glorify it, and I thank God that I grew out of that shit. But that's what my environment raised me to be. You know what I'm saying?
Do you see something like that similarly nowadays? And maybe, I don't want to say like our neighborhoods, but like is those kind of things still maybe prevalent in areas? Some areas I know sometimes now it's like, let's say with schools now, you know, we don't have that kind of like adult figure or kind of something to help guide you along the way to a better life potentially. I know I heard in Michigan that now high schoolers have to take personal finance classes. You know, we didn't have that kind of thing back in my day at the very least. So now do you see like things like that as help, like a good step forward to have that kind of stuff go away?
Yeah, that is a leap forward for the future of, you know, our society. You know what I'm saying? Because not having it did a huge disservice to me and my people, you know, or you know, people from urban communities, people from impoverished communities. You know what I'm saying?
Hell,
like,
I wish I had it.
We were financially illiterate, bro. We were taught to make money, but never know what to do with it other than survive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wish. I mean, hell, I mean, I graduated 10, 11 years ago. I wish I had it. You know, that would have been a great service for me. Sheesh, I wish. Sometimes I'm like, what the hell am I doing with money?
So this is what I be wanting the youth of today to understand is the shit that we had to go through to get to where we're at today. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the youth today have not experienced the hardship and the struggles that, you know, that we've had to go through to get here. You know what I mean? And just like today, life is all about accommodation. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, everybody has a voice. Everybody has rights, you know, and the right to speak. You know what I'm saying? When I grew up, we were not allowed to ask questions. We were not allowed to be around adult conversations. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us men, boys, were not allowed. We didn't feel comfortable asking questions because we thought that ignorance made us weak. You know what I'm saying? So we would rather remain ignorant and not have the right answer before I would expose that I don't know the answer, because I don't want nobody to think that I'm dumb or that I'm weak. You know what I'm saying? So I would just stay ignorant.
Yeah, I get that, because a lot of times I think even back in the day for me it was kind of I felt a little bit the same way. It's like, oh, is it good to ask? I don't know. It's like I think but part of me was like, I don't want to seem weak or anything. It was like, oh, I want to see if I can try to do it myself in a way, figure that part out. So I'm like, okay, I got this. But yeah, I get, like, again, going to like different neighborhoods and whatnot. It's like, the hunted and the hunters. You got to be the one. As some people would say, like that we know, like alphas or sigmas, and I don't know, something similar to that. But Brian would know. But yeah, it's like in those days, yeah, you had to be a step above everybody else, because they could come around and you don't even know, and it's like you're done, kind of thing, right?
Absolutely, and that's the way it is today. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're here one day and gone the next. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then to your past life too, because unfortunately then it got to it came to a head, and then you've found yourself in prison, and you said what, 17 years?
Yeah, I served 17 years, in the MDOC. When I was 9 years old, I was admitted into Aurora Hospital. Aurora Hospital was a psych ward for kids. It was over there on Martin Luther King. And, I had, by the time I was 9 years old, bro, I had already inherited a lot of trauma. You know what I'm saying? At 9 years old, I wanted to commit suicide. I started out in Chicago, then moved to Southwest Detroit, and then ended up in Lincoln Park. I was taken out of my community, and my stepdad, who was Cuban, he had saved up some money to get us out of the neighborhood, because like I said, in the 80s, things were like really bad. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of violence. So he got us up out of the neighborhood and took us to Lincoln Park. Now, even though we didn't have to deal with the violence that was going on in Southwest, I had to deal with racism. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, like, the Lincoln Park today is not the same Lincoln Park that I used to live in back in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? And so, by the time I was 9 years old, bro, I was already, a victim of racism. I used to get jumped in school, beat up, teased, you know what I'm saying, just for the color of my skin. You know what I'm saying? My mother used to be called an N-lover because, my stepdad, he was Cuban, but he was African. He was a black African Cuban, you know what I'm saying? And, and I had been sexually abused already at that age. And, I had just been traumatized, inherited trauma, when I was younger. My mom still had a lot of resentment towards my father because, my father used to beat my mother. And even when she was pregnant with me, she told me how my father used to, beat her and kick her in her stomach and stuff like that. And so it was like I was already experiencing violence before I even was born into this earth. You know what I'm saying? And then, my mother had so much trauma and resentment towards my father, where every time I used to get in trouble, my mom used to kick my ass. You know what I'm saying? And because I have the face of my father, I look just like my father. So every time my mom got mad and I got in trouble, or I did something wrong, like, she would beat the fuck out of me. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about bleeding out my nose, mouth, all that. And I love my mother. I'm not saying this to demonize her, but, I'm just explaining the history of trauma and how long, inherited trauma can last and how experienced trauma can last. I'm 45 years old, bro. I was going through this shit at 7, 8, 9 years old. You know what I'm saying? And I'm getting my ass whooped because of some shit that my father did. You know what I'm saying? And they say that the sins of the fathers are passed on to the sons and the daughters. You know what I mean? And then, and then by the age of 15, I went to juvenile. You know what I'm saying? I went to the juvenile because, I was gangbanging real tough, got caught with a bunch of guns, you know what I'm saying, at a young ass age, and went to juvenile. And then, by the time I was, 16, 17 years old, I already had my daughter. I already started making kids at a young age, and I started making money. I started hustling. I was selling coke. I was selling weed. My family was the plug, you know what I'm saying? Shit, My mom used to get 500 pounds a month from Texas. You know what I'm saying? And you know, they would pull that shit right in the garage, and you know, we was hustling, we was getting money, we was surviving the best way we knew how. And drugs was the family business. Everybody was doing it. You know what I'm saying? And so you know, I went to the youth home. My first night in the youth home, I got stomped out, got beat up by the you know, my rival gang, you know, that was in there. And then, you know, I lived a life of just, you know, being in the streets and, you know, not you know, just not being conscious, you know. And then by the time I was 22 years old, I ended up in prison for a murder case. You know what I'm saying? And you know, for me, when we grew up, like, dying, killing, and going to prison were like a badge of honor. Respect me, you know what I'm saying? So those were the values that we were raised with, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of us were raised solid like that, you know, and we thought that, you know, that's what being a man was about. You know, as long as you were a provider for your family, you were doing a good job. As long as they had a roof over their head, food on the table, and clothes on their back, they were straight, you know what I'm saying? But there was so much more to being a man that I had to learn later on in life, and that I learned in prison. You know what I'm saying? Prison is truly the environment where boys become men, you know what I'm saying? Or you can become a bitch, somebody's bitch. So, you know.
It can happen, yeah.
It does happen.
In prison, when you were there for 17 years, you obviously had moments where you were like, okay, something needs to change. I want to, like, turn life around and kind of provide, but in a different way, and make it so that it's long lasting, but also more fulfilling, potentially, you can say. What was the kind of moment you thought, like, okay, what do I want to do now with myself? What can I change, knowing that it won't come back to me and, you know, and haunt me later on in life, something like that.
So karma is very real. Everybody pays. And like I said, the sins of the fathers are passed on to the sons and the daughters. So sometimes when karma comes, it lets you watch your loved ones suffer. You know what I'm saying? So when I learned about karma, and I learned about how you can kind of determine the outcome of that, anybody, when you go into pot in there, I realized. So when I went to prison initially, I only went for 2 years.
I didn't even know that, actually.
Yes, I only went for 2 years flat. I had caught an unrelated case. I caught a case in River Rouge. I got pulled over. I got caught with like $8,000, a pound of weed, and a P89 Ruger with a 30-round clip. I just bought this car. I hadn't even had the car a month yet. I just bought this Byzantine chain for like 4 bands. I had the whole back of the car, the trunk full of Christmas presents, and I just bought 10 tickets to the Lions game.
Oh, wow.
And I blew a stop sign in Rouge and got flicked. And I ain't got no license, and I ain't got no insurance, and I didn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know the law. And I was told that when you're caught with money, drugs, and guns all at the same time, that's a felony firearm. It's not a CCW, carrying a concealed weapon. Carrying concealed weapon elevates to a felony firearm when you have money, drugs, and a gun all at the same time. So I ended up going to prison for a mandatory 2 years, and this was my first time catching a felony as an adult. You know what I'm saying? So when I went to prison, I went for 2 years, and it was about almost 10 months later that I had got charged with a murder case. It was a cold case murder. It had already been a couple years old. And while I was in prison, that shit caught up and bit us in the ass. You know, so my other partners who were on the murder case with me, they were free. You know what I'm saying? I was in prison on this unrelated case. And then so when I got hit, I was already in there. You know what I mean? And eventually I took a plea deal, and they gave me 14 to 21 years. They initially offered me a 18 to 41 years as a plea deal. And I said, shit, I'll never be the same, because 18 to 40 years at that time sounded like a life bid to me.
Right.
And then I didn't know about the plea deal. You know what I'm saying? So me and my brother Pat, we decided to take the plea deal. We both got sentenced, you know what I'm saying? And my brother, you know, Mike Banks, man, free Mike Banks. You know, he had a different mindset at the time. He believed that money could get him out of anything and everything, because up to that point, money had really got him out of a lot of trouble and provided a, you know, decent life for himself. But the thing about him is he was a black and white thinker. There was no gray area. It was all or nothing. It was win or lose. You know what I'm saying? And he was a risk taker, and he took a risk and he lost. And they gave him natural life plus 100 years. He's been in prison about 25 years now, fighting to get his freedom back. And I hope that he gets it, because he doesn't really deserve to be in there, especially when everybody that was involved on this murder case is already home. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, you know, the brother Pat got killed a couple years ago. You know what I'm saying? Mike, he's still fighting for his freedom. And, you know, I'm out here doing my thing. You know, the brother who, you know, the dude who fucking told on all of us, you know, he lives far away, you know. And so I feel like when I look at all that, everything that has happened, I am here for a fucking reason. Because I easily could have been sitting in there doing life, or I could have been with Pat in the car and I could have got killed too. You know what I'm saying? But so now when I wake up every day, I wake up with a different kind of gratitude, you know what I'm saying, for life and appreciation for freedom. You know what I'm saying? And God, you know what I'm saying? Because I overcame everything that was supposed to destroy me, bro. You know what I mean? And I love my life. I love freedom. I love the people who are around me. I love what I do for a living. I love being married. I love being a father. And I mean, honestly, I'm still paying, bro. I've been home for 5 years. I got released in 2019. And I got my 2 sons, Victor and Emilio. They live in Ecorse. And the day I came home, they decided that they didn't want shit to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Fucked me up, because my sons had, all of my kids, you know, my daughter and my 2 sons, they grew up with me in prison. I literally raised them from prison. Thank God for my mother, because when I went to prison, I had no contact with neither one of the mothers of my kids. You know what I'm saying? So it was because of my mother that I knew my kids and my kids knew me. She'd been bringing them up since they were babies. And I mean, literally days before I got out of prison, I talked to both of my sons. We talked about how we're, you know, going to go here and go there and do this and do that and all this shit. And then days later, I come home and they decide they don't want shit to do with me. You know what I'm saying? I was not prepared for that. I didn't even see that shit coming. You know what I'm saying?
No, because they give you like a different kind of like front. And it's like, hey, we're here to connect now.
And that's day one of freedom.
Right,
that life smacked me in the face, that my sons decided they don't want shit to do with me. But I just spoke to you 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Where the fuck do you think that comes from? You know what I'm saying? And my sons, they're not children. You know what I'm saying? They're 25, 23, 22 now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, how do you switch up like that? You know what I'm saying? And I feel terrible, because until they get back involved in my life, I'm going to always have a void in my life. So I'll never feel complete, you know what I'm saying, without my sons, you know what I mean? I mean, every day I do what I got to do to live, to survive, to love, to serve, all that type of shit. But there's always going to be a void inside of me, you know what I'm saying? But the dynamics of the situation, who the fuck could convince my kids, my sons, to not fuck with their father? You know what I'm saying? And more so now than ever, I am the best that I have ever been in my life, and they would benefit so much from having me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And the only conclusion that me and anybody else that has sense said, it's the mother. The mother is the one that had the influence over my sons. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so when we talk about trauma and resentment and, you know, there's grudge, there's all these things that are affecting my life, affecting the lives of my sons, and the person who's carrying the burdens. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's important for us to heal, because when you don't heal, you continue to do damage. And I've been home for 5 years now, and I still cannot build that bridge with my sons. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I would like to think that with all that I have done and all that I have become, you know what I'm saying, that maybe you would try to help build that bridge, you know? So when you maliciously plant ill seeds into their head to turn against their father, you know what I'm saying? That just lets me know that you got a lot of healing to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hope that sooner than later that my sons will come back into my life because I love them and I need them, and they would benefit plenty from having a father in their life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. I hope so too. I know having that family dynamic, be everyone be whole again, and having just everyone together. I'd never want families to be broken up like that. Just for maybe some outside sources feeding them whatever they could be getting, and I don't want that either. So I hope one day it can be brought together.
And what was crazy, Mario, is that like I wasn't raised by my father, but when my father found out that I went to prison, my father stood in my corner the whole bid. The whole 17 years I was in prison, my father and my mother were by my side. But I built a great relationship with my father. I was not raised with him, you know what I'm saying, at all. And when I went to prison, he was in my corner 1,000%. And I built a relationship with my father in prison. And I got to know so much about myself, you know what I'm saying, by getting to know my father. I had obtained so much knowledge about me, you know what I'm saying, who I am, where I come from, my grandparents, where they come from, you know what I'm saying, and San Luis Potosí, Mexico, where all my family come from, bro. And it was just like a whole new discovery of a journey, bro. And then so I always had that inner child that wanted my father, and then I was getting ready to come home, bro. I had about a year and a half left. I ended up catching a fucking case in prison for selling drugs. I got caught selling heroin in prison. They prosecuted me, prosecuted me, gave me another year. I served that year. When I went to see the parole board, they flopped me and they gave me another year too for catching the case. So I added on another 2 years to my sentence, and the 1 year before I came home, my father died, man. He was at work. He had an accident, had a stroke, and he died. This was 1 year before I was supposed to come home. So I had to live with the regret that had I would have not did this stupid ass shit, selling drugs in prison and catching a case and getting more times, I would have made it home in time to actually build and have a relationship with my father.
And have those moments, yeah.
And I didn't get that. And then when I come home to fill that void with my sons, I got rejected by my sons. So I'm fucking wounded, bro. You know what I'm saying?
In that one space by yourself, it's like, okay.
Never got the opportunity to physically have a relationship with my father. Coming home to want to be the best father I could be, and then get rejected, bro. You know what I'm saying? That shit's fucked up.
Yeah, and I hope that bridge will be built. I do. But
thank you, brother. Thank you, man.
So 2019, you come out, you enter a whole new world. I forget which Disney movie that was. Whole New World. What was like those pop culture moments? Now, like what you came into, you're like, what the hell is this? Because you were gone for a while, and a lot of things decided to happen. Anything from phones to internet to crazy superhero movies. What was like? You're like, what is this?
So I started to recognize the change in society in the last 5 to 6, 7 years that I was coming home, paying attention to what was coming in, the influx of people that were coming into prison. First of all, prison became a stomping ground. I mean, a dumping ground for mentally ill. You know what I'm saying? So they fed lambs to wolves, by housing mentally ill patients in prison. And I had heard that, there's like an epidemic in mental health, I learned about ADD, ADHD, autism. You know what I'm saying? I had a bunkie that was autistic, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying?
Like, what's really wrong with you? Yeah.
So I paid attention to what was coming in because I wanted to know what I was going home to. You know what I mean? So when I finally came home, like everything was digitized. You know what I'm saying? And the day I got out, they handed me a fucking phone. And I didn't know how to answer the bitch. People are calling, texting, all this shit. I don't know. I'm touching it, slapping it, smacking it, swiping it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Was yours a touch screen? Like it was
Yeah. It was a
You went
smartphone.
straight in. You didn't even have like the keyboard versions from back in the day. You went straight into this.
Oh yeah, straight into that. And I have never been a tech person, honestly. Like, I never really cared for fucking video games. Passing into everything after the arcade and Nintendo, I couldn't fuck with it. I could never figure out the ups, the downs, the size, the ABC, and all that bullshit. So, you know, I didn't have time for that shit. I was selling drugs and all that shit anyways. But so I'm coming home. Everything is tech shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's walking around in Crocs. I thought Crocs was the goofiest shit ever.
I still do think that.
Yeah, I got 8 pair now, every fucking color, and I got Croc charms and all my fucking Crocs. You know, the youth today walking around Myers and Walmart, and you know, they got pajamas on, hoodies on, slippers on, and I'm like, the fuck y'all got going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, when did that become acceptable?
Right.
You know, to walk around in pajamas, things like that. The spandex shorts and pants. Mm-hmm. I'm like, holy fuck! I came home and like all you see is ass, camel toe, everything everywhere. I'm like, holy shit! Like, women are like out here, you know, wearing, you know, like, you know,
expressive,
yeah. And I was like, fuck, I'm just getting out of prison, and I'm like, I don't remember society being like that before I left. Everybody wore baggy clothes, even the girls, they wore baggy shit. I come home and everything's form fitting, you could see everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, god damn. You know, LGBTQ plus. You know what I'm saying? Like, me growing up, bro, like, you know, they were separated, you know, and when I was in prison, we were separated, you know what I'm saying? They were like undesirables, you know what I mean? And so when I came home, I seen that it was everywhere, you know, and I was like, holy shit, like, society has really changed a lot, you know what I'm saying? And I had to learn how to adapt, you know, pronouns. He, she, them, they, their, you know what I'm saying? All that shit. I became a youth mentor. 90 days after I got out, I got a job at the Detroit Hispanic Development Corporation, and I became a youth mentor. So initially, I thought that the youth today were like the youth when I grew up. Absolutely not. Completely, totally different. You know what I'm saying? So then I realized that this is not the time for me to talk and teach. This is the time for me to be quiet and listen, because the only way I was going to be able to help them was I had to learn from them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And coming from our community, you know, Southwest Detroit is a community of undocumented people. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these kids had struggled with their parents being deported, raising themselves, being raised by neighbors, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, things like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, kids who were struggling with gender identity. They didn't know, am I a boy or girl? What do I want to do? Do I want to be both? Do I want to part-time this shit? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, some they tried it and liked it and some didn't. And I'm like, well, how do you go back from it? Because like they say, once you put a dick in your mouth, you know what I'm saying? It's a wrap. You're always going to be, you know what I'm saying? So what the fuck you going to do then? You can't say, I didn't like it, I don't want to be it. But you whatever. You can do whatever you want to do, brother.
Back.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And now it's just more inclusive in that way. Everyone's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, be you.
Yeah. And but I honestly, what I did respect very much is the freedom that people have now. You know what I'm saying? Because to me it wasn't very hard to adapt, because I am a humanitarian. So I respect everybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you got going on. I don't care if I agree with you or not. I still respect you because you're a person. You have thoughts, you have feelings, you have the right, you know what I'm saying, to represent yourself how you want to. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what made it easy for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a humanitarian and I care about people in general. You know what I'm saying? Where some people are my age and they still can't adapt. They still can't get onto this shit because they stuck on their old ways and beliefs. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn how to evolve mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's really great, everything that's been going on with building our community in Southwest Detroit. Like, it's great. Just Detroit in general is thriving. You know, before I left, didn't nobody want to come to Detroit. Nobody was vacationing. Nobody was visiting. Nobody was coming. My cousins from Chicago didn't even want to fucking come to Detroit. You know what I'm saying? They're like, it's so fucking ugly. Then I come home and it's beautiful. And I've been home for 5 years and they've been just building. I don't care where you go, what freeway, wherever you're going, they are building. And it's beautiful. But I said we need to invest in the infrastructure of the mindset of the people. You know what I'm saying? To catch up with the infrastructure of things, because it's a lot of people in the community who are still mentally impoverished. They still think like savages and animals, you know what I'm saying? And we need to get out of that shit by learning new values, new morals, new principles, and learning your priorities, you know what I'm saying? Prioritizing yourself, you know?
And then getting to the next generation. Imagine what we could do, not just in Detroit, but just outside. Like, if we can tap into, like you said, you know, the mentally impoverished, or those who just don't have the means to express themselves, and then also find avenues to do what they want to do in life, and find those kind of the groups of people, or, you know, whatever else. It's like, okay, what can we do now? And again, it goes back to, you know, what DHDC is doing and trying to, you know, with all these events and community groups, outreaches, and things like that. It's like, okay, we can really really tap into this next generation.
Brother, at the DHDC, they got one of the biggest robotics programs in the state.
I got a behind the scenes look. That was pretty.
And we have like 40 or 50 engineer mentors that come from Ford, Chrysler, GM, DTE. They come, they mentor these kids, and they help them build competition robots. You know what I'm saying? So that they can join competitions once a year. And I'm like, holy shit! Like, these kids are learning how to be engineers, and one of our kids, he ended up getting hired in Tesla, bro. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
And then
let's go.
And then, like, we have the green screen room. They teach videography, photography. They got a state of the art recording studio in there. They have podcast stations. They got 3D printers. They got the Best Buy Teen Tech Center that teaches kids how to create designs and create games and animation. And then not only that, once you create your idea, then you can print it out on a 3D printer. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, holy shit! Like, these kids have so much, program and resources that are going to benefit them, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I love being a part of that, watching them thrive, even with all the things and challenges that they're faced with and up against. They still have resources to help them stay on track. You know what I'm saying? They just need people that they can trust, adults that they can trust. And that's what I love about, me and my staff and all the staff at the DHDC, is that if you're there for a check, you ain't going to last. You know what I'm saying? You got to love people. You got to love your community. You have to love giving. You have to love pouring. You have to love. You know what I'm saying?
What would you tell, if you had to describe to me Detroit, but like, how would you describe it as like a place to be now compared to a few years ago or before you were in prison? Like, if you had to give me like a little bit of like, okay, what's fun about this place?
It is the place to be. Detroit is the place to be. Hey, man, Detroit Lions, what up, though? For real.
Shout out. We got stressed us out, but we got the win last night.
Man, listen, not one time did I have any doubt that we was going to lose that fucking game, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew we would win. Even when it went into overtime, I said, bro, these guys are warriors, bro. You know what I'm saying? We ain't come this far just to come this far, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I was so connected and energized, you know what I'm saying, by them, you know what I'm saying? Going over in the overtime was excited to me, you know what I'm saying? I said, and we still going to come out with with the win, and we took it. You know what I'm saying? I love it, but Detroit in general, bro, I love it. And like they say, bro, I mean, I've lived in East L.A., I've been to Mexico, I've been to Kansas City, I lived in Chicago, and I love everywhere. It was dope, it was cool, but there's no place like home, man. I love Detroit, and I love what it has become, and everybody around the world want to come to Detroit to see what we got going on here. You know what I'm saying? I love campus marches. I love being downtown. The events are great. Like, and you know, like, everybody's been diehard Lions fans, even when we was losing and didn't win shit. I think one year we lost every fucking game in the season.
Yeah, we did.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we came from the trenches, man. We're like the Phoenix, bro. We rose from the fucking dirt, bro. You know what I'm saying? We went from nobody's favorite to everybody's fucking favorite. My brothers last year took me to a Lions game in Tampa, bro. It was the shit. I loved it. And you know what's crazy? We won that game against Tampa. Mm-hmm. And all their fans, Tampa fans, were congratulating us. They're like, man, you guys deserve it. Yeah, good shit. And I'm like, damn, for real? I'm like, that's dope, though. You know what I'm saying? Because we do, bro. We do.
Yeah, you could be. I was telling Brian this. You could be Raiders fans fighting each other all the time, or you could be Lions fans and be all respectful and nice, and all these cities appreciating us for now what we've been having to accomplish. And just imagine all the other sports teams here that if we become good again, it's going to be parties here.
The diversity, though, bro. I love the diversity. No, whether you're in Southwest, whether you're downtown or Midtown, like, bro, there's so much culture in our city. I love it, bro. That's where we get our strength. That's what separates us from everybody else, is the diversity and the networking of cultures, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen what have we had now lately? There's Argentinian, there's Jamaican, there's Puerto Rican.
Definitely got Venezuelans in this bitch too.
I'm seeing
bienvenidos.
I've never lived in Detroit, or I didn't grow up there, but like just coming in every year and seeing all these different areas and cultures and these companies and restaurants or whatever, it's fun. I might never go to all of them, but it's like I've seen them. Like, okay, I respect that. I'm glad this is what's happening now. There's just a whole lot of room to go. I feel like there's. I don't know if there's something. Is there something missing? Maybe, I don't know now. It's
no, brother. It's all about filling in the blanks. That's what we're doing right now with our city. We're filling in the blanks, from finding green spaces in residential communities and turning them into parks, or turning them into flower beds, or growing vegetables and stuff like that.
A lot too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, we are filling in the gaps, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're about to be done with all this blemishing and all this shit that blemishes our reputation, our city, our morality. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're doing better, bro, and I love it. You know what I'm saying? And I do want to comment, you know what I'm saying, because I've been watching TikTok a lot, and I've been seeing a lot of these all these videos about the Venezuelans in Aurora, Colorado, and over there in Chicago, and all the ruckus that's going on amongst them. And I could say this, man, as soon as the Venezuelans hit, they came to Detroit. They arrived here, and everyone that I have met, they have been good people, man. They have been solid. You know what I'm saying? They came here. They came to work. They were honest with me. I helped them get clothes, get coats, get jackets, because all they came with was the clothes that were on their back. And when they got here in December, it was cold. You know what I'm saying? They weren't accustomed to it. I went and I bought them all coats. You know what I'm saying? And they loved it. They were grateful. They appreciated it, and they're looking for work. They want to make an honest living. You know what I'm saying? They want an opportunity that they didn't have in their own country. You know what I'm saying? Both the men and the women and the children. So I can say that here in Detroit, we have not experienced the violence and all that you guys have experienced in other states. I think it's sad and it's unfortunate, because I would like to think that we could all live amongst each other, you know what I'm saying? And, but just like Tony Montana and Scarface, you know what I'm saying? When old boy said, damn, Castro's shitting all over us. What they did is that they released all the prisoners, you know what I'm saying? All the killers, the gangs, you know what I'm saying? They said, hey, you guys want to go ahead over there. It was the same with the Cubans, you know what I'm saying? Fidel Castro told all the prisoners, go to America, go to the United States. Same thing with the Venezuelans, you know what I'm saying? So, we're dealing with a lot, you know what I'm saying? But I just don't want it. blemish the culture and the race of the Venezuelans, you know what I'm saying? Because they have a lot of good ass people, you know what I'm saying, that are here and they just want to live a good, honest living, you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad to have befriended some of them, and they've even helped me out in times when I had a flat tire. They pulled up on me, changed the tire, everything for me, bro.
That's good.
I was very grateful for that, you know what I'm saying? So I just want y'all to know, from my point of view, here in Detroit, we embrace everybody. We show love and hospitality. You know what I'm saying? So I hope things get better in Chicago, because, I hate seeing people continue this vicious cycle of killing and murder and prison and misfortune and loss and pain and funerals. And I mean, fuck, we can't even afford to die. God damn it, they're charging $12,000 for a funeral. Motherfucker barely got $12. You know what I'm saying? Nigga ain't got $1,200, let alone $12,000. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we can't even fucking afford to die. So we got to do better, man. You know what I'm saying? All across the world, put the fucking guns down, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys watching too much movies, you know what I'm saying, playing too many video games. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but you guys got to value life, value freedom, value people. You know what I'm saying? I came home. That was one of the things that threw me off. Everybody was antisocial. I hate people. I hate people. I said, what the fuck? I grew up in a big family, community, big barbecues, softball games, and you know what I'm saying, and gatherings, house parties. And I come home. I hate people, and I hate talking, and I can't. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? How does society become so divided?
They don't use their voice; they use their keyboard.
Shit's cray.
Yeah, I bet that was something. I bet that was like weird.
That was new to me, though, bro. I wasn't accustomed to it.
No.
But I can say this, bro. I can say this. Since I've been home 5 years now, I see why people don't want to fuck with people. Because you got some fucked up people, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's terrible. I'm talking about kids that don't talk to their parents don't talk to their siblings. I mean, it is just terrible, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really sick of it, because it's just perpetuating division, and it just constantly perpetrates hate and separation, and not only with people in society, but in your own household, bro. And it's crazy. Drugs have fucked up our whole world, bro. I never seen homelessness like it is before. Never.
It's been crazy.
I went to East LA last year because rest in peace, my stepmother passed away, so I went out there for a funeral. Bro, they got communities of homeless people, bro. Right. I live out here in Taylor. Taylor's, downriver, nice community, bro. Yeah. There's homeless people, drug addicts all over the fucking place.
Right.
I don't know how did this happen, bro? You know what I'm saying? Every fucking week I've been going to funerals for people ODing or being killed, one or the other, you know what I'm saying? Or poor health. That's another thing in our community that plagues us, is poor health. We don't know how to take care of ourselves. And me too. Look, I'm fat as hell. I done put on 45 pounds since I've been home. I love Burger King. I love hamburgers. What can I say? You know what I'm saying? I was deprived of the shit for 17 years. Forget about it. I came home. I wanted to eat I ate fucking sushi.
Make up time for it, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But, I'm just, hey, it's my time to shine, baby, so I'm letting you guys have it the way I know it,
Of course. I'm eyeing this book as an avid reader myself. Tell people who are watching, I know people who are listening can't see it, but As a Man Thinketh, what is this book about?
This book, so first of all, thank you to my brother Jay Hernandez at Limitless Barbershop. He's the owner over there on Oak Street and Wyandotte. I was on his podcast, which my boy Brian Ruiz also engineers as well. But he gifted me this statue because every time I stepped foot in his barbershop, I had a special connection to this. And the reason I was so connected to this is because of this book here, As a Man Thinketh. And as you see, the cover is the thinker. This has been one of the most fruitful and most impactful book that I had ever read in my life and in my history of prayer. I have literally read this book at least 22 times. And you see, it's a very small book. It's not that big at all. but this book speaks to me, you, men, women, children, doesn't matter where you're from. You can interpret this in any and every language. This was an absolute game changer. This is what got me closer to God. This is what got me closer to myself. This is what brought me into a more humanitarian mindset. Because for the first 12 years that I was in prison, I thunk and I behaved like a fucking animal, because that's what they respect in prison. Blood. They respect blood and violence. So I adapted to that. And when I read this book, I realized that I didn't have to. You know what I'm saying? I realized that we as people have more power than we think that we do. You know what I'm saying? This here teaches you how to separate the flesh from the spirit. You know what I'm saying? I love this book, and I recommend this book to anybody and everybody of all ages. And I swear, read it once a year, twice a year. Every time you read it when you're happy, read it when you're sad, because it's going to speak to you in different volumes for different situations.
And I was gonna say, did you read this in prison also? Is this where you found it, or was this afterwards?
No, in prison, brother.
Yeah.
In prison. I wish I had time to read a fucking book today. You know what I'm saying? And most of my growing was when I was in the hole, when I was in sanctions, when I was in the, you know what I'm saying? When I was deprived of everything, you know, that's when I grew the most, because everything that I did every day was dealing with the exterior of my environment. Right. But when I was in the hole, I was able to tap in with myself. I was able to do internal work, do some soul searching, do some inventory, find myself. You know what I'm saying? Because when you on the yard, bro, you got to have your yard face on. You got to be aware. You got to be alert. You know what I'm saying? You got to be on point every day. You got to go to sleep on point. You got to wake up on point. You got to move on point. When I was in the hole, I was allowed to be vulnerable. I could put my shield down. I could take my armor off. I could put my sword down. You know what I'm saying? I could just fucking relax.
Yeah.
I was happy to get away from the population of 1,500 men. You know what I'm saying? I was able to get a little bit of peace, and I was able to collect my own fucking thoughts and get tapped into my own emotions, bro. You know what I'm saying?
So what is next for Eladio Nino? What is the future look like for you? What do you want it to be? What are you looking forward to?
I want to continue to be an example of growth, of change, of positivity, but I want to be well off. I want to financially be well off.
Don't we all?
I swear. And I hear that. I hear it. I know everybody wants that, but I want it. I want it bad. I feel like I fucking deserve it. I feel like I've taken every step in my life to better myself, and I have what it takes. You know what I'm saying? I work hard every day. I hustle hard. You know, I work weekends. I mean, even when my days off, bro, I'm always giving, pouring, helping, assisting, networking. And I'm like, at some point, bro, like, I don't want to have to hustle this hard for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? I had, a 20-year setback. You know what I'm saying? I'm already 45 years old, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have to sit here and bust my ass for the next 20, 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of the things that I hated the most about being poor is that there was no stability. It was unpredictable. We didn't know if we were going to be able to pay the bills, or if we were going to be able to pay rent or the house payment or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to live like that no more. There's so much stress in life. The last thing I want to worry about is bills. You know what I'm saying? But life is so expensive, bro. And it's like, I get paid every 2 weeks, bro. One fucking check goes to the rent. The other check goes to the bills. And it's like, bro, where's the leftover? Oh, you got to save money. Save what? There ain't shit to save. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to eat lunch, get a gas, get oil change, help other people, do what you got to do. Just the bare essentials. Fucking toilet paper, paper towels, paper plates, all that shit, bro. It's like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And people are just consumed by life and its expenses, bro. Motherfucker ain't even got time to spend with his family. You know what I'm saying? And that's the worst shit ever. Because I'm like, if I got to die tomorrow, how am I going to explain to God that I was just busy trying to pay bills? But in real life and in real time, if I stop working, we're going to be on the goddamn street with tents too with all the homeless people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. because shit, DTE want their money, the water, they want their money, the landlord want his money, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, even I came home with purpose, and still to this day. But now my agenda has changed because I need some money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping and praying and doing that at some point sooner than later, I could just really kick back, bro, and live my life, you know what I'm saying, without the worry of bills. You're always going to have problems in life.
Sure.
I just don't want money to be an issue. You know what I'm saying? Because money solves a lot of problems. People say it don't buy happiness. I agree with that. It doesn't. You can have all the money in the world and still be a miserable motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But for people who come from poverty and who are poor, our biggest problem was the lack of finances, lack of resources, lack of information. You know what I'm saying? But now I want wealth. You know what I'm saying? I want fucking wealth, bro. And it's coming to me, or I'm going to get it.
I want that for you too, but not just in terms of finances, like mental wealth, emotional wealth, social wealth, whatever else you could think of. Make you a whole person.
I honestly feel like I'm lined up, and that's why I feel like all that shit is good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Mentally I feel good. Spiritually, I got a great relationship with God. I'm a great husband. I love my marriage. I love coming home every day. I've got good friends, people I trust, people I love, care about. You know what I'm saying? I feel like all my ducks are lined up. The only thing missing is my sons and my bank account.
Yeah, the green and your
yes, for real.
I think it'll happen. We know it'll happen. We're gonna make it happen. It's not a matter of if, it's when, right?
And to all these motherfuckers out there that keep shooting and shooting and shooting, like, put the fucking guns down and go a round or two. Play fucking dodgeball. Get a paint gun or something. God damn, like, can y'all give yourselves a break, man? Can y'all have a little bit of kindness, a little compassion for yourselves and for each other, and quit killing each other? God damn.
Hopefully. All right. Well, Eladio, lastly, I would say, where can people find you to find your words of wisdom, and you're just kind of like bringing everyone together? Where can also people find you to check out events you might be having with DHDC?
Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm sad as hell, bro, because they did not leave a slot for me to have my reunion this year, bro. And I'm really bummed out about that. I've been 2 years in a row. I've been having this El Nino podcast reunion, and everyone has been successful, and the community looks forward to it. And somehow I didn't get a slot this year, bro, and I'm a little disgruntled about it. You know what I'm saying? But everything happens for a fucking reason. But next year, I'm going to make sure that I secure myself a spot. You know what I'm saying? No matter where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Because, that's a big part of who I am and how I acknowledge my podcast, my guests, my community. I love bringing people together, bro. At my events, bro, you got people from every fucking gang, every race, every set. You got people who haven't talked to in years, and they're hugging, they're making peace, they're showing love, and I love that. I love being a part of that and contributing to that. You know what I'm saying? But everywhere you can find me. I am everywhere, baby. I'm in the streets. I'm in Southwest. I'm downriver. I'm River Rouge, Ecorse, Lincoln Park, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, TikTok. Holla at me, man. El Nino Podcast, Eladio Nino. Fuck with your dog, man, for real. Because it's going up from here, man. I ain't playing no games. It's roll with me or get rolled over at this point, man. And, big shout out, man, to the Legal Aliens Podcast. My man Mario, my man Brian. I appreciate the shit out you guys because they done dedicated every Monday of their motherfucking life to me. You know what I'm saying? And that means something to me. I got to get on Brian's ass about these clips, though. But you know what I'm saying? That's my guy, though. You know what I'm saying? And there was a couple times I want to fold up shop, Mario. I got frustrated. This shit gets expensive. You know what I'm saying?
We know this.
Time consuming, money, all that type of shit. But I stuck to the script, and I'm glad that I did, bro. Because like they say, tomorrow might be that one day. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to live with no fucking regret. So thank you, brother. Thank you for being here with me, for me, contributing. Thank you for being the host today and letting me. Be the guest.
Hope it went well, people. But yeah, like because I'm here, I can plug. Yes, Legal Aliens podcast. You know, hit us up too. We're both gonna make it up there one day. We got this.
Listen, Rouge Days was the shit. Big shout out to River Rouge, DHDC. We had a table out there, information table. It was good to see everybody. It was good to meet new people at the time of my life. And you know, I can't wait till next year, man. Big shout out to you guys.
Absolutely.